Welcome everyone to Crypto Mania Live. Today is the 18th of July 2025. I'm your host Ayub, Senior Analyst at Elliott Wave Forecast. With Bitcoin hitting new ATH, we are diving into ETH and XRP price prediction. Can they break 4K? Can they break $4 for XRP? Smash the like button if you are ready for Altseason 2025. Let's turn together. Drop your thoughts on the chat. So let's allow a few more minutes for everyone to join. I hope everyone is having a good week with market movement, especially with us trying to catch with the recent moves in Bitcoin. I hope everyone is enjoying the rallies. We'll be discussing the short-term price action with Bitcoin to explain what could happen in the coming few weeks, and also we'll be of course focusing on mainly on ETH and XRP as they are trading to the upside, trying to match the recent Bitcoin move. Okay, that's great. Just checking if all working good. Feel free to drop your comments. As always, we'll be looking at different altcoins during our Q&A session. Drop your favorite altcoin. You'll be getting a special forecast today. So let's start by our main weekly overview. So we've been following this Bitcoin chart in particular. This is a completely different count from the one that we are presenting at Elliottwave-forecast.com. We have a different count for our members. This is the one that we are presenting with the live show. This is using a moderated bullish forecast, but this is also based on different type of a scenario that we've been explaining since we started doing these lives back in May. So as we can see here, with the technical structure still taking place, since the recent break into new all-time highs in May, we explained that Bitcoin created a new higher high sequence. Consequently, we are expecting Bitcoin to continue within the cycle starting from this April low. This was the major low that is defining the rest of the rally for 2025, and most importantly, we explained that as long as April low is holding, which was around 74k, as long as that low is holding, we expect continuation higher above 120. So our first move to the upside is showing 3 swings higher. The recent surge into new all-time highs, specifically for Bitcoin, already created the bullish sequence. We can see here, if we take a look at this move, we saw the first leg, peaked in May, we saw a 3-ways pullback in June, and now price continued to the upside, breaking into new all-time highs, which created a new bullish sequence with a main target around 135, which is the equal legs area coming from April low. Now, we know already, we explained this in the previous lives from last week. We need to understand that the key level to watch for the price action will be the recent 16th of June low. That's going to be your main key level for the coming few weeks, or basically until the end of this bull run. Because as long as Bitcoin remains above 98,200, then the short-term price action is bullish, and we still recommend for traders specifically buying the pullbacks in 3, 7 or 11 swings, because the current structure is still showing incomplete sequence and the price action should remain supported. Therefore, any pullback taking place in the short term will be finding buyers. Now, we need to understand that the short-term price action could become choppy. We can see that we hit the 23% with the Fibonacci extension from the lows from 2022. This is, I'll show you here, the leg that I'm referring to started from here. If you are using this equal legs area, it's better to show it. I'll put the blue line. So the extension using the lows from 2022 is giving us, and the lows from 2024 is giving us this equal legs area around 107, which created the first initial pullback. Now we can see that we hit the 123.6 fib extension level, which happened, of course, around 123k approximately. Now we are seeing an initial reaction from there. This is totally normal in terms of price action. These fib levels act usually as take profit area or resistance, where many traders or investors use them for trading purpose. Now we need to understand that these pullbacks doesn't mean that the peak in place. The structure that we are seeing, the same way that we were seeing 3 swings into new highs, and we explained it back in April and May that this is a bullish sequence into new highs because the market doesn't finish a new leg to the upside with 3 waves. That's why we expected at least another leg higher to finish a 5-wave advance. It's exactly the same way now taking place in the shorter time frame. In the daily cycle, we are seeing 3 waves up. So the market is looking still for a 5-wave advance. Doesn't matter if the market will be doing choppy price action in the short term with pullbacks. You need to see a 5-wave advance. Now the detour that could be taking place, maybe the wave 3 is in place here. We are doing wave 4 pullback. This is less likely as a scenario, but sometimes you can get shorter cycles or shorter extension wave 3. Usually the wave 3 will be extending all the way toward the 100%. In this case, it's around 135, or we can even reach extended move, in this case toward 161.8 area, around 172. This is potentially extension taking place later on. We will be defining them when the market gives us more hints, but it's a step-by-step process. If I delete these labels to give you more perspective and we go into the daily chart, just for further understanding how this playing out. So this was your wave 1 and 2. It did a perfect 3-ways pullback last month. It was a good buying opportunity. If you've been following us in the social media, we've been sharing these insights. Also, these trading opportunities are available for our members and the website elliottwave.forecast.com. So this was, technically speaking, a good buying opportunity. A 3-ways pullback, a textbook technical structure, A, B, C. The market finished the pullback and resumed the rally. Now, the question here that everyone is asking about the short term, how Bitcoin will be acting from here, because you can see already the sentiment could be fast changing in the market, but you need to understand that you are seeing still 3 swings with a divergence. This is in our system a bullish sequence, and consequently when we have this type of bullish sequence, we know that this next pullback most likely will hold the recent lows, in this case the June, if it's going to do something similar to this, and will continue the rally until it reaches the full extension, which is in this case 135. This is the extension coming from April. So technically speaking, these short-term pullbacks that you are seeing will remain supported. Now the question, is this going to be a straight move in wave 3, which usually is the case, or the market could give you something similar to this? I'll show you an example. We could be doing an internal wave structure. This could be the wave 1 again. In this case, the market could be nesting. So we'll be doing wave 2 pullback, retest the previous highs around 112. The market rally again before ending the wave 3. This doesn't necessarily mean that a deeper pullback is bad for the market. Sometimes the structure could become choppy, specifically as we are entering the final phase of the market. So this is a potential scenario. In this case, if you are trading the short term, Bitcoin could give you a buying opportunity maybe this weekend or earlier next week, potentially retesting 113, 109. Many people could be panicking when the market decides to dip below 115 and look for even a dip below 110 is on the table. But if that's the case, then that's going to be a really good buying opportunity, because the market should remain supported within this trend line and should extend toward 135, 150k. Now, okay, let me read some of the question. We did a poll there. Let's see if... Okay, so I'm seeing that a lot are leaning toward XRP. So this is going to be really interesting to see how XRP and ETH evolve around Bitcoin, because Bitcoin already smashing into new all-time highs and XRP is trying to catch with this move. But you can see that Bitcoin is starting to slow down. That doesn't mean that there is not enough room for extension. Even we talked about 200K. We have a webinar that we did it 2 months ago. We explained how Bitcoin can be reaching 200K. That's a different scenario. We are presenting this, of course, for our members. But this is the minimum structure that Bitcoin could be following in the coming few months until we reach October. Now, we keep referring to October because we expect in the market, specifically the crypto market, to have at least a macro peak around by the end of this third quarter. We could be expecting a larger correction taking place by the end of September or by the end of October. So that's why we are looking for this cycle that started in April to end in the third quarter of this year. So basically by September, October, this entire rally should be ending as a 5-wave advance. If you have any question about Bitcoin, do let me know. I will just, because our main focus today will be the alt season, specifically altcoins like ETH and XRP. This is just a short-term overview what could happen in the coming few days. Either a pullback and to 113, 109 and resume the rally around to 135, sorry, or Bitcoin could just ignore this, remain supported without any deep pullback, and the wave 3 remain in progress with a strong move. But a healthy pullback is always a good sign that the market is following this technical structure. Now, keep in mind the detour that I explained it earlier. If we are getting a short wave 3, which I really doubted, but surprised that this is only a short wave 3, you get the wave 4 pullback, still the same area, then the market could resume the rally again. But the wave 5 in this case shouldn't be longer than the wave 3, because you can see this is a short wave 3. I really doubt this will be the scenario, but I'm just giving the potential. I mean, after all, it's the same end result, so it's not going to matter how far this structure can extend. As long as this June low around 98K is holding, then the market should keep extending to the upside. Okay, so let me read some of the question. Okay, so yeah, we'll be checking a few of the coins by the end of the session. Solana will be one of them. Stellar is an interesting one. Could be catching with Bitcoin for sure. Sorry, specifically with XRP breaking into new all-time highs. Let's see how Stellar will be doing. Okay, so as we saw in the poll here, majority are leaning into XRP. I don't think we are mentioning any other Bitcoin at this stage, any other big coins similar to the big 3 at this stage, because the only one that did manage to break into new all-time highs is XRP, and I think BNB is the one trying to catch with the move. So let's start with XRP. As the vote has been leaning to XRP, which already managed to make new all-time highs. We've been explaining many times before. We did also a video about XRP explaining how this is a bullish structure. We explained that the recent pullback in June, this is going to be a great opportunity for short-term trader to be able to take along if you didn't buy the April pullback, because XRP was showing 3 waves and 2 new highs. This was 1, 2, 3 swings and 2 new all-time highs. Basically, when it did the rally in January 2025, it did break above 2018. That created a bullish sequence. So that was the main reason we've been explaining that this pullback should remain supported and XRP should be doing at least another leg into new all-time highs, which is exactly what is taking place, because the 3 swings is always an incomplete sequence within a bullish cycle. The same way that I've been explaining here. If I go back to the weekly chart, the same way that we are saying that in the short term, Bitcoin is showing 3 waves and 2 new highs. This is an incomplete sequence. So you should be expecting Bitcoin to extend higher the same way that XRP extended to the upside within the weekly cycle. Now, we need to understand that also XRP is showing 3 swings from April. So technically speaking, this is another bullish indication that the cycle didn't end. We are still expecting further upside for XRP, but we need to understand how this can evolve in the coming few weeks. We have a major target coming for XRP around 3.8. Even this is not far from the previous highs. This is only basically just 15% move. I know we have a lot of targets to the upside calling for $5, $10. Maybe drop your expectation in the comments. What do you expect for XRP? Will it be really able to break above $5? Can it really hit $10? That's going to be a big question to answer, but I'll give you the 2 possible scenarios. If XRP is going to do just a regular impulsive 5-wave advance, if it's going to be just 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 move, then most likely XRP could be ending this entire cycle between 3.8 and 4.5. That's a minimum target. We can put another extension based on this cycle within this wave 3 and 4. That could give us a higher target around 4.7, 5.4. So the $5 is technically speaking around this area. It's still there. So that's a potential move to the upside. But minimum target for this move is 3.8. Now I'm talking about weekly targets. That doesn't mean in the short term we can be seeing extension. That's up to you to decide. Do you think the peak will be just around 3.8 or are we going to get the extension? So if the rally is a simple 5-wave advance, then most likely we should be extending between 3.8 and 4.5. Now the 3 waves here is already exceeding the internal move. You can see the wave 1 and 2 connector give us a target around 3.59, which was hit yesterday. And you can see the price action even in the short term is already reacting from there. So that's already telling you that the market is trading within the wave 3. You see this big weekly candle, that's the sign of the wave 3 taking place. So we know for sure that the wave 3 is already in progress. Even in the short term, when we move to the daily, you can see that the RSI, I'll show you really quickly in the daily, is starting to erase divergence. You see here, this big RSI compared to this cycle is erasing divergence. So that's telling you that we are within the wave 3. So let's put that in clear. So XRP is already in sync with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is within the wave 3. XRP is accelerating past Bitcoin. So kind of outperforming Bitcoin in the short term, technically speaking, in terms of structure. And now when the wave 3 is there, we know that it can extend between, let me give you the targets here, 1618 area and 2618 area. So you can see this is the target. I'll put it in a different color just to show you. Let's put it in green here. And let me delete the 100% just to explain the extension wave 5. In extension wave 3. Seeing that the poll here is leaning toward $10. So yeah, there is these crazy targets to the upside. Technically speaking, it's possible. I'll show you how, but taking it step by step. If it's a wave 5, then we are approaching the end of the wave 3, which means by the end of this month, or maybe the start of August, we could be seeing the peak in wave 3. That could mean a pullback in wave 4. You shouldn't be panicking about a pullback in wave 4. That's technically what the market happened, like it did here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was always a pullback. Then, after the pullback, the market should keep extending higher. So more likely, XRP will be breaking above 3.8. And more likely, it will be heading toward 4.5 because it's going to be a mix between the 618 area of the wave 3 and 4 in red, and it's going to be also the 618 area of this 1 and 2. So most likely XRP is heading toward this area in the coming few weeks, or in particular in the coming 2 months. So expecting a target there. Now how we can define if XRP is going to even reach $5 or $10? We need to see that this entire section from 2020, which is a completely different cycle compared to Bitcoin or ETH, you can see that we are seeing an overlapping structure. What I mean by an overlapping structure, that the wave 4 pullback, label it here, already overlapped with wave 1. So when you see the overlap, it only happens within a diagonal structure. So either this is a leading diagonal, in this case, which means, I'll show you, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Usually leading diagonal, the wave 5 doesn't extend too much, therefore it could end here. Then you will be getting a larger pullback into the next bear market. Before, if it's a leading diagonal, then it's gonna be a wave 1. You get a wave 2 pullback. Then the market really in the next bull run will be starting the acceleration in the wave 3 in the grand super cycle. So that's technically speaking, in the weekly and monthly, it's still bullish. That's why maybe in the next cycle, based on this structure, the targets into $10 could be seen. This is only if we end a leading diagonal. Now, if we want to be super bullish and we want to aim for 5 and beyond, even $10, then of course you should be looking for this in a different way. I'll just delete the labels to explain. If XRP is doing a nesting structure, which is a different Elliott Wave count, but it's the same idea. When you have the overlap, you have two options. Either it's a diagonal or it's a nesting structure. Now, the only thing that is denying for now the nest structure is there is no divergence in the recent high compared to 2020. However, nests do happen. If it's a nest, then this is your wave 1. So wave 1 in blue, wave 2, another wave 1 and 2, and you are only starting the wave 3 now, which means, I'll delete all the labels here, wave 3 will be extending toward the 618 area of the wave. Sorry, this will be the extension that I'm talking about, using this entire cycle from 2022, using a connector from wave 2. It gives you an extension higher all the way towards 6.6, all the way toward 9.7. So you can see $10 is technically speaking possible for XRP only if this is a nesting structure. We don't have the confirmation of a nest structure. The way that a nest would be confirmed in this case, if this RSI, you see this RSI, if this move higher extend beyond $5 and the RSI erase the divergence. If we see that the RSI erase the divergence, that will indicate that the wave 3 of 3 is currently in progress. So we don't try to speculate on that. We're gonna take it always step by step. For now, we know there is a minimum target for XRP to be reached, which is around the 3.8, 4.5. When it reaches that area, if the divergence is still holding, that's a big warning sign for you to be aware that there could be major take profit by the end of September or early October. So you should be aware of that, because that's still a confirmation that we are trading within a wave 5. However, if we start erasing divergence maybe next month, then you know you are in for a wild ride and XRP could really break above $6. I see the vote is $5, $10, so we are staying there. Sure, I mean, plenty of upside targets. Yeah, that's definitely on the table. I mean, if you believe in XRP in the coming few years, which I do think this is going to remain. I mean, this is one of the oldest coins in the market. Remember, this is from 2013. We don't have too much coins apart from DOGE from 2013. We don't have too much coins from the old days. So this is still showing that it's still in the market. And most importantly, people tend to forget that the easiest way to look at the market is that this is now definitely a bullish market. You have 3 swings into new all-time highs. This is the monthly. I mean, I can just put the yearly to give you a perspective. The yearly chart for XRP is bullish. The reason this is bullish because it's only 3 swings into new all-time highs. I don't believe this is going to be the wave 3 of 3 at this stage, specifically the cycle, but I believe that the next bear market is going to be a great buying opportunity for XRP because the wave 3 of 3 in the grand super cycle is still yet to happen. So I believe the next bull run will be exciting for this price action, because you should be seeing the same way that you are seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from here. The entire cycle should be printing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the upside. Let me show you something or draw it better. So this is only the wave 1 of 3. You're gonna get a pullback, something similar to this. Don't mind the time. I'm not focusing this to 2000. Sorry, unfortunately, I'm just presenting the structure. If this is only the wave 1 and 2 that happened in 2018, then we are still going to see XRP trading higher toward $10 in the coming years. So that's something to keep in mind. Our focus for today is the short term. What will happen next month? What will happen in the coming 2 weeks? This is really important. So you need to understand that XRP is bullish, and daily and weekly. And every time you are seeing any price action that is breaking into new highs within a 3 swings, that's still suggesting that, of course, if it's an impulsive structure, then more likely you're going to get a wave 4 pullback and a wave 5. That's exactly what I'm seeing an XRP at this stage. So if we go to the short term, and now we do the same idea that we did with Bitcoin, your key level, which I don't think XRP will be breaking anytime soon, is 1.9, which is the June low. So expecting the pullback to remain supported there. And the short term, I'll change this into 1 second into the black. So the short term here, just give me a second. There we go. So if we are seeing a price action to continue within the wave 3, most likely we are seeing the divergence. I mean, this is the highest reading in the RSI. So most likely you're going to still see new highs with divergence taking place to be able to end this wave 3. So I expect the pullback to remain supported even above, let's see, where is Monday? This is Monday. Yeah. You should be still expecting these lows from earlier this week, because the weekly candle should remain bullish and we shouldn't be seeing a full reversal, unless this is an interesting structure, which I don't think this is the case. So I expect these pullbacks to remain supported, and most likely XRP will be printing a new all-time highs in the coming few days to finish this wave 3. Then we're gonna get a pullback, a 3-ways pullback, a technical pullback, and wave 4 before the final rally takes place into October. So most likely in August, there will be a 3-ways pullback. It should present still another buying opportunity for traders. Then the rally will continue toward 4.5. That's, let's say, the slightly bullish scenario for XRP. I hope that was clear. If you have any question, please do let me know. So I'll be, of course, doing a recap later on, but these are the short-term projections for XRP and the long-term projection for this 5-wave advance. I'm taking note. Yeah, we'll be checking mana for sure and in the Q&A session. Now, if you don't have any question about XRP, we'll move on to ETH. What do you think ETH will be doing this cycle? It's been lagging for a while. We'll be, of course, doing a comparison between ETH and BTC using the ETHBTC. I know a lot of anticipation about that. Same with the XRPBTC. We'll be checking the Altseason indicator for sure. So stay tuned for that later on. Don't forget to smash the like button. That will help us to spread this information for sure. Okay, so the next poll will be about ETH. So allow a few seconds here to show in the chat. Then we'll be talking about this price action. I know a lot of people have been really annoyed with the ETH price action in this cycle. It's been lagging. We didn't see any new all-time highs. There is a lot of price action that is kind of was dragging everyone to the downside. There was a lot of altcoins related to ETH that did struggle to make even new highs in 2024. ETH, in this case, is still showing, technically speaking, an impulsive structure. which is going to help us to identify the next target to the upside. Now, the only problem that I see with ETH at current stage, we are still trading below the previous peak, and we need to break the sequence. Let me just move this a little bit. We can see that since 2021, ETH has been forming, technically speaking, a higher low. Sorry, a lower high, my bad. This peak around 4,100 is below the 4,900 peak from 2029. So that's why you need to see ETH breaking above 4,100 to be able to open the bullish sequence. It is in the process of building that. It's always a step-by-step process, but we need to understand that this is a 5-wave advance. I mean, we can even label it like this with a flat, doesn't matter. For us, this is a 5 swing into new highs from this low of 2022, and therefore, if ETH is going to follow the same path as Bitcoin, which already made a new all-time highs, the same path as XRP, which already did a new all-time highs, then ETH should be doing a 5-wave advance from April, which already technically speaking within the equal legs. You can see that the same way that XRP reached the equal legs area from April. That's why it's really important to understand the cycles. I'll put the 100%. You see here, this 100% around 2.9 is the equivalent of ETH reaching the equal legs from April, which is around 3,600, which was reached today. It's exactly the equivalent of Bitcoin reaching 135. So Bitcoin is kind of slowing down to allow the rest of altcoin to rally, which is what we all want to see, which is technically speaking your alt season taking place. I'll go into details later on. So ETH is already within the target. Now this is going to be the major important area for ETH. This is the area to watch specifically for the coming few days, or maybe into an earlier next month, because ETH here will be defining either we are going to break into new all-time highs and start the next leg to the upside, or ETH is failing after 3 waves, because you don't have 3 waves and 2 new highs similar to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is showing 3 waves and 2 new all-time highs. XRP is showing 3 waves and 2 new all-time highs. However, so this is the previous peak. So 3 waves and 2 new all-time highs. ETH is only showing 3 waves below the previous peak. Technically speaking, if I'm just using the technical structure without any correlation or without any relation to the rest of the market, I could say that, okay, this was a 5-wave advance. This is the first leg of the correction. I can count this. I put this, I mean, this is A. I mean, I can put any bearish scenario for ETH, which doesn't make sense, of course, but I'm just giving why 3 waves isn't any confirmation for now for ETH. So I could call this as an ABC, and there you go. So ETH could have just done A, B, and this is your FC. It will fail below the previous peak, and from here, I could say ETH will be dropping back toward 1,000. You see how easy you can switch the counts if you want, but of course you need to have a reason. You need to understand how the structure works, because if Bitcoin is still expected to extend 135, there is no reason to call for ETH to be failing here. So I'll just reload the chart, and you need to go with the idea that you are expecting the altcoins now, at least at this stage, with this, which is the final phase of the bull market that started technically speaking in 2022. We are now in the 3rd year of this bull market, and technically speaking the 4th year of the cycle. So 3 years of bullish cycle for Bitcoin. You should be entering the final phase for Bitcoin. Then the market should follow up with this move. Consequently, ETH should be still trading higher, either within an extended move in this wave 3. So you should be expecting ETH to break above 4,100 area and ideally reach 4,533. This is the 6618 area of wave 1 and 2. And if you want to get the simple explanation, this is your wave 1. You did the wave 2 pullback, and now the wave 3. Without focusing on the internals, ideally it should be aiming for 4,500. So if that's the area, then most likely it will be breaking this peak, and consequently you'll be having another incomplete sequence to the upside, or what we call a bullish sequence, that will be aiming for, let's add the targets here. Let me just put them again. So the break above the December 2000 or the January 2000, December 2024, January 2025 is going to open the extension higher toward 5,000, 6,000 area. Now it really depends how this play out. Either it's going to be a straight move in wave 3, or we're going to see short-term price action pullbacks. I'll better to reload the chart and show you the internals. Okay, let me double check. There you go, this enter. So if we're going to see a subdivision in this wave 3, then most likely similar to XRP, maybe by the end of this month or early in August, we're gonna see a pullback. Pullback should remain supported above 2,100. That's going to be the June low. Pullback and keep extending higher. Because ETH has been lagging, then there is a lot of potential that ETH is starting the wave 3 of 3 within the cycle from 2022. But we need to understand that we don't have enough time. The only thing that could allow ETH to really extend in price and even go toward higher targets, which I'll show in a second, is an extension in time. If the cycle could extend until Q4 of 2025, maybe ETH have a chance of really extending even beyond 6,000 area. However, to be able to define that ETH is only going to have minimum target around 5,400, 6,600, you need to understand that this is going to be a 5-wave advance from 2022, and most likely, deleting all the labels, this is just wave 3. You get a wave 4 pullback, a final wave 5, then there will be another big correction in the coming few months after the cycle ends. So basically by the end of 2025, early 2026, you're expecting ETH to be back again, maybe around 3,000 or 2,000 area, and it will be presenting again a buying opportunity. However, the moment ETH opens new all-time highs, this is going to be same idea that I explained for XRP in the yearly chart, that this is going to be a 3 swings and 2 new all-time highs. This is going to be a monthly and yearly bullish sequence, and therefore the next buying opportunity for ETH, which will happen in 2026, maybe 2027, is going to be the best buying opportunity compared to the previous cycles. Because if this is the grand super cycle 1 and 2, then the wave 3 of 3 didn't happen. Anyone that's saying that ETH already had its major cycle, I believe that's wrong, because we are talking about the wave 3 of 3 like this, these extension move. This cycle has been lagging, and that's exactly what happened with XRP in the previous cycle. You see, it's been building up. You don't need to have exactly the same move in every cycle. You see, this price action has been building up in the previous one before we got this acceleration higher. ETH is basically doing the same. It's building up, and most likely when this cycle ends, this entire cycle ends, and there is a correction, the next cycle should be the strongest one, because this is going to be the wave 3 of this entire rally that started from all-time lows. So most likely this is your wave 1, and the wave 3 of 3 still didn't happen. So therefore, I don't think ETH will be really outperforming too much in this cycle. Around 5,000, 6,000. Most likely we could be ending there by the coming the end of Q3, and then the market will be doing another correction. The only detour, the same idea that I explained for XRP. What if we are starting really the wave 3 this cycle? So in that case, I know a lot of a lot of traders or investors are looking for ETH to reach 10K. That's definitely on the table. How ETH can be reaching 10K or extending beyond 10K. I'll be putting bigger cycles. So the only way that we are expecting ETH to reach this 10K area is by doing an acceleration higher in wave 3 of 3. In this case, you won't be seeing price stopping anytime soon. It needs to happen in the near time because you are technically speaking ended the wave 1 and 2. And if this is really the wave 3 of the grand super cycle, price won't be dropping anytime soon. You should be seeing strong acceleration. This cycle should keep extending without any big pullbacks. And you should be seeing this strongest candles the same way that we saw in earlier this cycle. You see, this is, for example, the wave 3 of 3. You see these type of candles, they should happen in the coming few weeks. And price will be breaking straight toward 5,800. And from there, it keeps extending without any deeper pullback. Because there shouldn't be an overlap later on with the 4,000 area. The reason there shouldn't be an overlap, because the wave 3 don't have an overlapping structure. This will be your 1, 2, you get the wave 3 like this, 4, 5. You finish the wave 3 and the grand super cycle. You still get a pullback and then acceleration higher. So in that case, the major target for a wave 3 in the grand super cycle gives you 8,800, 13,000. So that's a tasty number. I think this will happen in the future, no matter what. Either the cycle, if we are going to see an acceleration in wave 3 of 3, or and the grand super cycle extends into 2027-28, then most likely that will happen in the second cycle. So either way, ETH will be breaking above 8,000 and to 10K. Based on the current data that we have, most likely it won't happen in the coming 2 months. Most likely it will happen in the next bullish cycle. However, we need to have an open-minded ideas. So if we see any sign that the market is turning into a super nest in the short term and keeps accelerating, that's your big indication that ETH could be open in that area. Okay, let me read some of the questions. Okay, so we won't be covering anything about your USD. No, today's session is about crypto market, but we do cover the euro in our forex forecast. You can always take a look at Elliottwave-forecast.com. You can always take the trial. We have a lot of technical instrument there that we cover, around 78 forex, NDCs, crypto market, commodities. You can always take a look there. So let's continue with the current session. The big question that everyone is looking, are we going to get an Altseason in 2025? I mean, this is really the Altseason that everyone is looking to see and enjoy. To be honest with you, I mean, you are already seeing the Altseason. I mean, if we look at the data that we have here, let me bring the chart of the Altseason that everyone is using. Now, we can see that, I mean, the market, the Altseason is technically speaking, is already in progress. Let me just double check. Yeah, this is showing the right chart. So, I mean, this is the Altseason index. What is the Altseason index? Basically, this is accumulation of data showing the top performance of the 50 top coins. If the top 50 altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin in the last 90 days, then that's Altseason. We are not yet reaching that, but you can see the market is heating up. We saw the same in late 2023 when we had the hype of AI and gaming. We saw the same last year in 2024 with memes and EI as well. And now we are seeing the same taking place now with the altcoin market starting to hit. I mean, if you take a look at even in the monthly, we are already within an altcoin monthly extremes. You can see the market is already hitting up. And this is really telling you that the market already showing a shift in momentum, which means Bitcoin slowing down, and a lot of, you see here, a lot of altcoins are already outperforming Bitcoin, which is what is explained in the market by, if you go to at the ETHBTC chart, you can see since April, ETH has been outperforming Bitcoin. We are seeing maybe potentially a major low in ETHBTC, but to be honest with you, this is not going to be reflected on the overall market. The overall Altseason is not like everyone expecting, exactly similar to 2020. We explained this in our previous webinar, which I do recommend that you watch. We did a webinar about Bitcoin reaching 2000k and the rest of altcoins, explained why this altcoin season is completely different. We will drop a link for that webinar. You can watch it later on. But you can see ETHBTC ratio is technically speaking showing a down trend since 2017. And I still expect this to still, unless ETH is going to do a super cycle and extend the wave 3, I still expect this to be another lower high below the 2021. I don't think ETH will be breaking out this cycle. So despite we are putting, technically speaking, a higher low above 2019 lows, we can expect a strong bounce, maybe back toward 0.04 or 0.5, something around this area. This could happen, which will be supported by ETH acceleration towards 6,000 levels. But you need to understand that as long as the ratio stays below the 2021 peak, this is just another, let's do it like this. This is just another lower high, and the market will be again dropping. I believe this is going to be the path for now, and the real bounce or the real move will be taking place for ETH in the next cycle. We can see that the same for XRP. Despite XRP making all-time highs and rallying, it's been basically a sideways market for XRP. Since 2021, this is a sideways price action. It couldn't break this range. It's basically trapped within this range. It's not outperforming Bitcoin, and it's been trapped. There is a chance that the cycle it could break. We could be seeing maybe something toward, let's see, toward 47, 54. That's on the table, but it's within the same range. So technically speaking, if you bought XRP compared to Bitcoin since 2020, your portfolio is basically the same in terms of BTC. You didn't lose too much, you didn't win too much. I mean, depending on where you bought it. I'm talking about in terms of sats. If you are just comparing your portfolio not in dollars and satoshis, then this didn't give you any edge at this stage. Actually, I mean, unless you, of course, you bought the lows. If you bought the lows in XRP, then yes, you are doing good compared to Bitcoin. But overall, in the recent 5 years, XRP didn't go anywhere. Is there a chance that XRP could be breaking out of this range and maybe retesting the highs of 2018, 2018? I really doubt this will happen anytime soon, but this is an early indication that we are bottoming, and this is potentially a rounding bottom, something similar to this. That could take still more years, but when it finally finds a major low, XRP, similar to ETH, will be seeing a stronger breakout. I believe potentially something similar to this will happen. Then the breakout. I'll change the color. So most likely, the next cycle for XRP is going to be the one that you're going to see a break in the ratio compared to Bitcoin. That's going to be interesting to watch. So it's always step by step, but this cycle we're gonna still see some outperformance by XRP specifically in the short term. So I hope that's clear. Any other question? So I see there is a question about Cardano, Polygon, Dogecoin. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. We'll take a look at them in the Q&A session. So just a quick recap for the idea that we are explaining for today's session. So Bitcoin, we'll load in the chart. Bitcoin is bullish. Anyone that is still telling you that the peak is in place and Bitcoin is going to crash from current levels, either they have a crystal ball or they don't understand how technical market works, because technical market is still suggesting that this is an incomplete bullish sequence and Bitcoin should extend at least toward 135. So that's clearly what we are here. They made for ETHBTC subscriber. You mean for members area, or you mean for free subscribers? If you are looking for the free subscription, you just go onto the website elliottwave-forecast.com. We'll drop the link in a second, and either you take the trial, which is currently for 99 cents, 14-day trial, or if you are just looking to follow the free updates, then you can check the free articles or the free for crypto forecast page, which we'll be sharing in a moment. I'll show you here. In the meantime, let me get the page running. Okay, so let me get the so you should be getting the link in the chat room. The link for the website. I'll put it here in a second. Okay, so you are a member. Okay, if you're a member and are not getting any emails, either you already clicked unsubscribe for emails in your Gmail, for example, or if you want really to turn them again on, you can check your members area for subscription. I mean, if you have any question about the technical part, you can go here. There is the live chat. You can ask the technical support will help you out with that inquiry. But if you are a new member and you are going to start the 14-day trial, then you can go to the website. It's just for 99 cents, and you can get access to our crypto forecast, including the forecast for BTC toward 200k, or the XRP ETH. We also cover BNB, Solana, and Dogecoin. So just let's do the quick recap, then I'll go into the question. We'll cover some other alts like Sol, BNB, MATIC, Cardano, Dogecoin. I see a lot of questions about these, so I'll cover them in a few. So again, if you are seeing that a lot of people are calling for a top in place in the short term, that's completely, technically speaking, wrong, because we still expect in 135, because this is an incomplete incomplete sequence to the upside, looking for five-wave advance. However, it doesn't mean that the short term we are not going to see any pullback. The short term structure can give you a short term pullback, which will be a scoop for this live session. So if you are looking to buy Bitcoin, I'll give you our extreme area that could be seen as an entry. This is going to be only for, I mean, this is something that we do for members. I'll show you just an example for Bitcoin. If you are looking to buy or trade Bitcoin, we are using the blue box. I recommend that you take a look at the blue box in our website. This is the technique that we use to define the area to be able to buy the market. So if Bitcoin decides to correct the cycle from June, then, and doing a 3-way pullback from the peak, then the next buying opportunity for Bitcoin that could happen this week or during the week, I mean, basically we are on the weekend, so during the weekend or early next week, if Bitcoin managed to reach this area, then this is going to be your buying opportunity for this weekend or next week. 113,500, 108, 897. I just want to double check if that's the exact target, because earlier it gave us slightly different, just to be sure. Okay, that's exactly the area. So this is going to be a buying opportunity. Doesn't matter if Bitcoin, if this is a wave 4 or wave 2 and the lesser degree, you are buying against the June low. Bitcoin should be holding 98k, and this is going to be a good extreme area where the market will be able to resume the next rally toward 135. If Bitcoin, it doesn't mean Bitcoin needs to drop here. Let's be clear about that. I'm not suggesting that Bitcoin will be crashing or dropping from here. If Bitcoin manages to reach this area, that's your buying opportunity, which will give you another leg to the upside next month, maybe, or in the coming few weeks toward 135. It's not going to be a straight line. There is no straight line in the market. You can see here, there is always pullbacks. Even in the short term, you always get these type of pullbacks. The market doesn't run in straight line. So it's going to be the same here. There is no straight line. There is two scenarios. You always prepare yourself for the next extreme. If the market gives you a buying opportunity, you buy it. If the market rally into new highs, then all good. If the market decides to make a double correction, then you prepare yourself for the next buying area against 98. Both scenario will present you a good buying opportunity. I don't know the area or the levels until the market develop later on, but I'm explaining the fact that the market will either rally after 3 waves or the market will rally after 7 swings, which will be a WXY. So it will be either something similar to this, A, B, C, either 3, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One of the twos. Oh, okay, I apologize. Sorry about that. I thought this is... Okay, I'll go back to the screen. I apologize for that, my bad. Okay, let me just do the quick recap about the chart. Okay, my bad, I didn't see that. Okay, so I was just explaining the buying opportunity for Bitcoin. At least you got the levels, but this will be the chart. So this is going to be exclusive for this webinar. A buying opportunity for Bitcoin if it's going to correct the cycle from June. This is the cycle that we are talking about. If Bitcoin decides to drop in 3 swings from the recent peak that we saw earlier this week when Bitcoin reached 123, as long as it stays below 123, then it could give you a buying opportunity around 113,500, 113k 500, 108, 894. This is going to be the blue box area that we use for buying levels, and from there Bitcoin will resume the rally toward 135, or Bitcoin could bounce and fail and give you another buying opportunity below 110. I don't know if Bitcoin will be able to drop below 110, but for you to be able to trade it, you need to define levels. So you need to prepare yourself for Bitcoin to drop toward 113, 108. Doesn't mean this is going to happen 100%. It's only an area for the market to provide you with buying opportunities. So you need to keep that in mind. Sure, no problem. You're welcome. You need to keep in mind that trading is completely different from forecasting. You can forecast that the market could go here, but what happens next? You find that Bitcoin breaking into new time highs. So you shouldn't be basing your trading on forecasting the market. You should be basing your trading on technical areas that you should be looking to enter with a pre-assumed stop and a target. So in this case, the next area for us to be able to trade Bitcoin and the rest of crypto is when it reaches 113. The same way that we did last month, we told you that you should be looking to buy Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto or altcoins. The best time to buy altcoins was in April. If you didn't buy April, the second one was in June, because in June we explained it that Bitcoin is doing a 3 swings. This was the same idea. It was doing a 3 swings from the peak, and it reached the 99k equal X area. From there, of course, the market resumed the rally. So if Bitcoin next week or during the weekend reaches this area and you are looking to buy any crypto altcoins, then this is the best time to be enter the market. That should be your filter for the coming few days, because unless market decides to rally into new highs from here, with the current data that we have, this is a potential buying opportunity. Okay, now let's do a quick recap before we move on to the questions. I'll be checking. I mean, if I have enough time, I will be taking a look at Riot and Mara. But we did a live session last week, in particular, talking about the Bitcoin mining stock. So you can take a look at that. We went through into details for those stocks in particular, and short-term structure and the targets to the upside. So there is a full webinar about that from last week. So it's still fresh. You can take a look at that. So for us, for now, Bitcoin is bullish. Short-term pullbacks is on the table against June. You should be looking to buy it, and this pullback would be still supported for XRP. XRP is not showing any sign of a pullback in the short term. We still expect an XRP to go toward 3.8, 4.5. That's our minimum target. Doesn't mean this is going to be start dropping from there. No, it could keep extending all the way toward 5, 6. But you know that when you reach this area and you find that Bitcoin is trading within 135, then that's a big warning sign for you, specifically if it happens by the end of Q3. Same thing for ETH. We are bullish ETH. We expect ETH to extend and make new all-time highs within this leg, but we don't expect this to be the acceleration into 10K. We could be expecting 5,000, 6,000, but most likely this cycle will end there, and you're gonna see a larger correction in the coming 2 years or maybe next year. I don't know the exact timing. As usual, no one will be the exact timing, but this cycle will end around 5,000, 6,000. Can it extend beyond? Of course, yes. But with the current data, step by step, this should be the area to start looking for warning signs for the market. So I hope that was clear for everyone. Now let's move on to the question. Okay, let's start with the earliest one, which was about Solana. I'll be using different charts, but it's the same idea. Let's use. So you have Solana. The only thing that I like about Solana at current stage is the monthly chart. Apart from that, I don't like Solana. It's been, of course, Solana already outperformed in 2024. I don't think it's going to be outperforming in the coming few weeks. Now, the only thing that you should be noticing here, 3 waves and 2 new all-time highs. So monthly, yearly, Solana is bullish and definitely will be making new all-time highs in the next cycle. Let's make that clear. Doesn't matter what happens here, either like this, new all-time highs, or even from current cycle, it will be the same end result. This is an incomplete sequence to the upside. So Solana have 2 choices. Either this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, and you're gonna see still an acceleration higher taking place, or Solana is going to fail below the previous peak. This is a 3-wave bounce. Solana won't be making new highs in the coming few months. It will fail below this peak, maybe somewhere around, I'll give you the exact target in a second. And then it will be doing a larger correction. Then during the next cycle, Solana will be starting the strongest wave 3 of 3, which could take it even toward 1,000. It's going to be really hard to forecast at this stage, but if you want to get into the short term, which I believe everyone is interested in the short term, Solana is still looking for the equivalent of 135K from Bitcoin, which is the April cycle. The April cycle is giving you this minimum target around 217, 239. Even the 618 area for Solana at this stage isn't breaking into new all-time highs. So even if it's going to be an extended wave 3 at this stage, which could reach 274, it's still below 290. So 290 is the previous all-time high, or in this case 294. So you can see with the current data, Solana is lagging. Will Solana be able to accelerate and break new all-time highs? It's on the table, but it's a step-by-step process. I see that Solana already outperformed in 2024, so the money flow could be now switching to ETH and other altcoins in this last push of the cycle. So best case scenario for Solana, based on the current data, is it could create a 5-wave advance from April low, then it will be able to break new highs. As long as the bounce is only showing 3 waves, What I mean 3 waves is first leg, a pullback, and this is the third leg. So most likely you're gonna see 217, 239 in the coming few weeks, but from there the market will be able to decide. Okay, now let's move on to other coins. So there was a question about, I believe, Dogecoin and Cardano. Cardano is one of the favorite, similar to XRP, but I believe Stellar is more interesting for now. I'll check Cardano for sure, but let's take a look at XLM USD, because following the new all-time highs in XRP or Ripple, now the speculation is we'll be seeing a new all-time highs in XLM as well taking place. I'll keep the same forecast that I've been following for a while. This is still, it's up to you to say it, but this is still a lower highs. Until I see a higher high sequence in Stellar, this is still kind of a sideways bearish price action. I mean, it's not really bearish because you are also making a higher low. So technically speaking, this is building up a breakout. This is still a sideways big price action. I don't know what will happen with Stellar in the coming few years, but if this structure remains intact, there is a strong probability that when the super cycle in XRP happens, most likely in 2028, 2029, XLM will be breaking above $1. That's my forecast based on this structure. Surprise, the confirmation could come sooner than expected, and it makes a new marginal high. That's all it needs. New marginal high above the 2024 peak, and that gives you a 5 swings from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we do make this new marginal high and have a 5 swing higher, then that's the early confirmation that the next cycle will be definitely having the breakout. In that case, there will be again a pullback with the rest of the market during the bear market, and then during the next cycle, the strong breakout will happen. I still don't believe the breakout above $1 will happen this year. I believe this will happen in the next 2027-28 cycle. So take some time, but let's give you just the target for the upside in this cycle, similar to XRP. If this is going to be wave 5, then most likely you'll be seeing at least 0.74 all the way toward 0.9. So there is a chance that we could be almost hitting $1. It's an area where the market could be aiming for, but it all depends on how fast this move will happen. I'm keeping a timeline for the end of Q3, so around October, the market should be accelerating and to reach the final move to the upside. Are you interested in holding the coin for the next few years? I mean, if you have, I mean, to be honest, if you bought around 0.1 and if you have any coin that you believe this is going to be still having a bullish cycle and still going to survive the next bear market, and you bought the lows from previous years and you took some profit and you keep accumulating, then yes, why not? I mean, if you are buying around 0.1, I mean, that's definitely a good choice for you to keep accumulating. Maybe take some profit in the next leg higher and reaccumulate again. Maybe the next pullback, it will keep creating higher lows for sure. So the next high should be above 0.07. So maybe somewhere around, I don't know exactly, but the low in wave 4 was 0.2. So it could bottom around 20 cents or 10 cents later on. I don't know, but that's going to be for the next cycle. Okay, let's take a look at the rest. So Cardano, I mean, I know that Cardano is one of the favorites. Sorry, my bad. Let's see. But you can see the cycle. It's not even reaching the 50% of the decline from 2021. You see, this is why you need to focus on the. I'm not sure why this is not showing. Okay, there you go. You see here, the rally that we saw last year didn't even hit 1.6, which is the 50%. So definitely Cardano is lagging. Now, the only bullish scenario that I see for Cardano, even for the coming years, Cardano needs to do a fifth wave higher. Because for now, I only see 3 swings, which is just a 3-wave bounce. If Cardano fails to break above 1.3, it will end up similar to many other altcoins that we are seeing from the previous cycle. What could happen if it fails below this peak? Then most likely it will be heading into making low sequence. So Cardano bulls is up to you to decide it. If it managed to really have another leg higher, in this case I'll give you the target. If we really manage to get a move toward, I mean, it's basically the 50%, so that's fair. So a move toward 1.5, 1.8, that's the most optimistic forecast that I can see for Cardano based on the current cycle. I don't mind people disagree with me, because I know there is a lot of people calling for new all-time highs, for $3, for $5. I don't think this will happen. I'm just looking at the structure. I believe we're gonna, the most bullish scenario, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is your wave 5. You're gonna see another big correction into the bear market, and only on the next cycle ADA will have a chance of breaking again into new all-time highs above $3. Sorry to say that, but that's what the market is saying for now. The market needs to prove this structure wrong by accelerating above 1.8, maybe above $2, and create separation above the 2024 peak. Until that happens, this is just weak. And even if you go to the short term, you can see that you see almost, I mean, the lows from April and 2025 are almost the same. We don't have any edge. We are not breaking above the previous peak yet. So there is no clear bullish sequence. Will the market remain supported in the short term? Yeah, sure. I mean, we can see extension higher. I'll give you the targets in the short term. Most likely we're gonna see $1 again, so break above $1. If you establish a good break above $1, then yeah, you are trading within a wave 3. So maybe in the short term you're gonna see a pullback with Bitcoin. And if you see something similar to this, yeah, that will open the door toward $1.5. So something similar to this should be happening in Cardano in the short term. Pullbacks needs to hold above 50 cents, otherwise it won't be able to survive. Okay, I mean, we are already past 1 hour. I'll continue with the question. Let me just read a few of them in a moment. Okay, so we checked already that. Okay, Dogecoin. I can't give specific forecasts about Bitcoin because we do cover it in Elliottwave-forecast.com, but I can give you the overall idea. Specifically on the short term, I'll just give you the target in the short term, but all I want to say here, similar to ADA or Cardano, Dogecoin is still showing a low sequence. It's not breaking above the previous peak from 2024, definitely not on new all-time highs. Will Dogecoin manage to break and make new all-time highs from current levels? I don't have answer to that, because to be honest with you, I'm only seeing 3 waves below the previous peak. It needs to really accelerate in the coming few weeks to be able to show any bullish sign. For now, all I can give you is the next short-term target. If it managed to accelerate beyond that, then yeah, that's your bullish sign that Dogecoin will be breaking into new all-time highs. Because you need to take, first of all, the December 2024 peak to be able to open any bullish sequence toward 0.7 or 0.8. So for that to happen, the early indication is an important break above 0.35. Why 0.35? That's the 618 area. If Bitcoin, if Dogecoin is not, or Doge is not going to be a corrective bounce, because this is only, it's not even breaking May peak, but if this is not a 3-wave bounce, it needs to exceed the 618 area, because a wave 3 usually exceeds or at least reaches that area. So if you see the market doing something similar to this, then you have a chance of breaking the previous peak. However, if the market struggle to break above it and do a larger pullback like this by the end of Q3, most likely you won't be seeing new highs. So the area to watch for Dogecoin in the coming few weeks is 30 cents, 35 cents. I hope that answered your question about DOGE. Now let's move on to the rest of comments. So let's see. Okay, we did already cover Solana. We did cover DOGE. I see a lot of questions about that. Okay, okay, Amar said that you still believe Bitcoin will go above 300k. That's technically speaking possible. Anything is possible, but if only Bitcoin extend within the cycle, and most importantly that the timing cycle extend beyond October, maybe until the end of this year or next year, yeah, we could be seeing maybe a hyper move to the upside with parabolic extension higher. That's on the table. Personally speaking, I don't think that will happen. And I'm also keeping in mind that one of the most important things that everyone is forgetting, which I wanted to keep at the end, is the dollar chart. This is one of the most important charts that you always need to keep an eye on it, because without the dollar chart, you won't be able to understand why we are seeing these type of cycles. Now, the dollar chart is not something you're gonna correlate one-on-one with the Bitcoin. That's something that you should be using as, let's say, an edge for you to know when or where is the area that you should be starting to take profit in the market. Now, you can see here from 2013, when the dollar chart started bottoming, this is when we saw the peak in Bitcoin, which was around November 2013. And from there, what happened with the dollar? The dollar super rallied and we saw the bear market. It's the same happened in 2017 when we saw the dollar bottoming here and started rallying. Then that was the peak for the market around these levels. It was kind of a double bottom here. Now this one is not exactly a double bottom, but we saw a double bottom for the dollar around March 2021. But the peak in Bitcoin happened later on when the dollar already started the rally. So you see, it's not a correlation one-on-one. When at least you start seeing the signs of the bottom in the dollar taking place, that's an early warning sign that Bitcoin should be soon slowing down. And that's exactly what happened here. When we saw the bottom, Bitcoin had the early peak, if you remember, in April 2021. So that's exactly what happened. Now we are going to see the same here. Why I'm saying this? Because first of all, you can see this is a monthly channel from 2008. So we are hitting that monthly channel. And most importantly for us, in our Elliott Wave forecast service, we are looking for the dollar to reach the target from 2022, which is basically the exact same cycle as Bitcoin. This is 2022 low in Bitcoin. And that cycle is reaching an equal X area in the dollar around 95. When the dollar reaches the 95 area, there will be a bounce taking place in the dollar. The same way it bounced here, the same way it bounced here. Some people are saying that the dollar will be even breaking into new highs again. That doesn't matter. All you're gonna see, or all you're gonna need, is a bounce in the dollar to have a bear market in the crypto. That's exactly what happened here. Even it started making new highs. That's exactly all you needed here, just a bounce. You see here, the previous cycle, this was the new highs. So I'm expecting something similar to this, at least in 2026, 2027, which will be reflected on the rest of the market. So that's why I'm saying there is not enough room in terms of time and price for a big acceleration in Bitcoin and the rest of alts, because the moment maybe you're gonna see a double bottom in this case, we started curving something similar to this, and then the market is done. So in terms of timing, we are approaching that final phase of the market. Yes, if you're gonna see a pullback, I don't think it's going to be against April, because in the case of so the question was, next opportunity to buy ETH should be I mean, alongside the SPY, which is the ETF for S&P 500. We need to understand that they don't need really to correlate tick by tick, but if we go back to ETH here, I don't think it's going to correct the cycle from April, because if ETH is going to correct the cycle from April, then the cycle has ended. The reason for that, you are only seeing 3 waves. If from current level it ends the cycle from April, then the cycle has ended as a 3-wave bounce, and most likely you're gonna trade into new lows. It needs at least, before correcting that cycle, it needs at least to show 5 waves like this. Then it will correct the cycle from April. So even in the short term, I don't think the cycle is done. We could be maybe seeing, let's see, let's go with the less aggressive approach to explain how this can correct the cycle from April and remain bullish. If we see 5 waves, so maybe new highs, a pullback next week and a final leg by the end of the month, then yes, a pullback against April could happen, present a good buying opportunity. Then that way you will be able to buy it. Only if you see a 5-wave advance, then you buy the pullback in the short term. However, if you are still looking to follow the cycle in Bitcoin, which is not certain that the cycle has ended yet, then I would recommend going with the aggressive approach, buying against the June low, because you are still seeing 3 swings up. A good example is BNB. To explain my point here. So this is the cycle in question from April. This is a cycle from June. Now, BNB has a different structure, but it's the same idea, a bullish sequence higher. Almost reaching the target today with a big spike higher, so that's good, but you can see this cycle from April is showing 3 swings. So it should be, maybe this is already the wave 4, but it should be doing something similar to this before ending the cycle. But most likely it won't be correcting the entire cycle from April because I think if the cycle from April has ended in Bitcoin, I'm not saying has ended now, but after it do 5-wave advance to the upside, when that cycle ends, most likely the entire market will be looking to enter a big correction phase. So I hope that answered your question. So the buying opportunity should be most likely against these June lows. In this case for ETH against 2,119. Okay, let's take a look at Polygon or MATIC. But you won't be liking my answer about it. I already covered this before. I posted about it also on Twitter. This is not a coin that I would be looking to hold or buy in the short term or in the long term. That's a simple answer to your question if you are looking for a forecast. I'll keep it simple. You see here the lows from 2022. MATIC is trading below the lows from 2022. That's a bear structure. I don't know what happened with MATIC. I know there is a lot of development there. It was one of the leading coins in the previous cycle. To be honest, I like MATIC. I've been buying the coin in the previous cycle. I enjoyed the rallies. But this cycle, no, I'm not touching. The reason why? It only doing 3-wave bounce, then failing. You see the structure? 3-wave bounce, and failing again. Again, it did 3-wave bounce and failed into new lows. To be honest with you, I will be using any type of bounce if you are still holding the coin. That's up to you. But me personally, if I'm still holding the coin, I'll be using any type of a bounce to exit my position or to sell the coins, because the market is already trading into new all-time highs, and this one is not even breaking, let's say, it's not even breaking the previous 2022 lows. So that should answer your question. There is better coins than Polygon in this cycle in particular. Maybe in the next cycle things could change. Maybe this is a big accumulation taking place for the coming cycle. Who knows? Yes, the crypto part is covered in the group 2 alongside other forex and indices, but yeah, we cover the 6 instruments in group 2, which are Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, BNB, Solana, and Dogecoin. Okay, let's finish with a couple of others. I think I saw about Tailcoin, if I'm correct. USD. Yes, also the live session. We do have a live session in both. I will show you by the end of the session. We do cover the crypto, and we do a live trading room and a live session in group 2 for crypto as well. It's of course not similar to this type of session that we are doing in the live. It's going to be more technical, more based on the Elliott Wave counts, and more focused on the short-term structure for buying opportunity if you are looking to the live trading room. So let's see this one. I'm going to give the targets. I believe, I mean, let me go back to the question. Okay, there was no particular question, but so I'll just give the targets for, because we are running out of time. We should be closing the session in 5 minutes. So for now, it's only showing 3 swings from these lows. I mean, to be honest, this is sideways, but if there is any chance for the market to rally in the coming few weeks, this is the time. So most likely, it will be aiming towards 0.15, 0.18. The way to be able to define that this is not a corrective bounce, I mean, we are already seeing a good structure in the short term. So I like the structure in the short term. It's already showing kind of a 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's already a good structure, suggesting that the market should be seeing more upside. In that case, you get a pullback, hold the lows, and it should be seeing something similar to this all the way towards the target. That's most likely the path, as long as it stays above the recent low from June, which is around 0.0032, if that's the exact low. Yeah, around that area, 2032. So if you are looking for this one, it should hold the lows and extend higher. I mean, let's see, potentially, yeah, there is a potential 2 or 3x to the upside that could happen from here. So yeah, that's definitely a good risk reward if you are looking to take it. Let me go again. I mean, I think I missed a lot of calls, but I try and do my best because won't be having enough time to cover all the altcoins. But I think the best one that you should be keeping in mind in the short term is based on the current bullish sequence. If you are looking for the bigger coins, BNB should be the one to watch. If you are looking to play it safe and you are looking for only the bullish instrument, I think BNB is one of them because it already has an incomplete sequence and should be trading into new all-time highs. This is only on the safe side. If you are looking for the more, let's say, lower caps, we did a live session before, I think last month. We explained it, which bullish, I think I have the charts here, but we explained it. There is a lot of bullish coins, like for example, Hype, which keeps extending onto new all-time highs. We've been covering Hype in the social media. It's been crashing it to the upside after this buying opportunity in April. We've been calling this upside. This is one of the bullish coins. I think K2 could also be one of them. You can watch the recording to see how you can be looking to trade these. We talked about Sui. Sui is also expected to make new all-time highs. Probably it will be heading higher towards $6 or $7. This is one of the coins you should be watching. There is a lot of them. I can't cover everything. So I hope the session was good for you. So don't forget to like and share. If you are not subscribed to our channel, go ahead and subscribe. We have a lot of educational video that could help you out in your trading. We also do a lot of live webinar. We'll be keeping this live show in the coming few weeks. We'll be guiding you about the next peak for the market. We'll be also giving you potentially targets to take profits. And also don't forget, if you want the live updates for the crypto, follow me at Elliottwave on X. If you want to follow the live crypto or indices or stocks or commodities, follow Elliott Forecast on X as well. So thanks everyone for watching. Take care and enjoy your weekend.